Welcome back. Here we are once again. Another tremendous, refreshing episode of the Club Soda Club. Well, what are we sipping on today, you might find yourself asking? We've got none other than the Safeway Signature Select Club Soda. And you know, last week on the show, I had a Safeway Signature Select seltzer water, and then now this is club soda. And you know, this isn't necessarily what the show is all about, but what I'm learning is that, at least in Safeway's eyes, the difference between seltzer water and club soda is simply the presence of sodium. So, you know, zero sodium, you just got seltzer water. You add in 40 milligrams of sodium, and then now you've got club soda. We've also got some regular traditional non-bubbling water. I got a hot tip. Apparently you can just put a little salt in your water, and then that gives you electrolytes. So instead of drinking a Pedialyte or a Gatorade, you can just have water with salt. But not too much, you know what I mean? You don't want it to taste like the ocean. Just regular salty water. Oh, door to the house is open. Hold on. Not paying to heat the neighborhood. I've also got my pineapple chunks here. You know, you're allowed to eat on this podcast. It's mine. I make the rules. And if you want a chunk of pineapple, you just go right for it. Anyway, I had an interaction with a lady the other day. You know, I've been sort of abstaining from the dating world. And, you know, I'm not sure that I'm fully re-entering the market. I cannot get hard. But I was at a show. You know, this happens from time to time. You do a stand-up comedy show. And, you know, a young lady from the audience takes a shining to the host and MC. And so, you know, after the show, girl comes up to me, pays me a compliment. I take down her phone number. Then after the show, we meet up at, you know, one of the loudest bars that you could go to, which if anyone out there knows anything about me, a loud bar with thumping electronic dance music, not a place you would catch me on a regular basis. So, you know, I'm there, I'm hanging out with this girl, she's nice, it's fine. And like, over the course of the night, it turns from like a fun getting to know you thing to like, she's like hammered and like, you're probably not even going to text me tomorrow. And it's like, was I supposed to do that? Like, if you went on one date, not even a date, if you met somebody out in the world and you had a nice hour and a half with them, is it implied that you're going to text them, forget ever again, the very next day? You're probably not even gonna text me tomorrow. So I don't know. I don't even know who you are. I know your first name, and I know that you've been to one stand-up comedy show in your life. But other than that, I don't know anything about you. You could be a criminal. And it turns out what this girl is annoying. Sorry. So anyway, just kind of a weird thing. It's also weird to meet girls when you're a person who doesn't drink alcohol. You know, because I don't know what percentage of people drink, but it's a pretty high number. And obviously, drinking or not drinking isn't inherently a limiting factor to whether or not you date somebody. But if a girl's had 3 or 4 drinks and you've had 0, you know, not exactly an ideal situation to be in. But God, I was thinking about that interaction with that girl, and then I just was thinking back on my past false starts or whatever with girls. So there was this girl at my school. This was in high school. Her name was Francesca. But she was dating a guy. She had a boyfriend, long-term high school boyfriend. He was on the basketball team. He was tall. He was handsome. You know what I mean? And I was, when I was a young lad, had a little bit of weight, had a little bit of extra weight that I carried around. Just had a little more cherubic energy than I do now. God, I gotta do this better. I was in high school, crush on a girl, her name, Francesca. And she was probably, more of a popular kid than me. So it just wasn't something that I ever really thought was gonna really happen. Just thought she was cute. And then she broke up with her boyfriend. News spreads around the school that Francesca broke up with her boyfriend. And, I guess that's big news, but whatever. They just broke up. But literally, she started sitting next to me at lunch. We started eating lunch together every day. And I was like, whoa, maybe this is... But I was like, there's no way she's after me. And then, another week went by or whatever. And we were assigned the same group project in class. And she was like, hey, we should meet up outside of school to work on the project. And I was like, absolutely. And I was kind of like, this is crazy. I was like, the episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza has a picture of a hot girl in his wallet, and then so he gets invited into this secret hot girl club? That's kind of what this was like for me. I was like, no way this girl is wanting to hang out with me outside of school. It was a really big moment for the kid. Or it would have been. The day that we're supposed to meet up, we had planned to go to Starbucks. I was going to take her to Starbucks after school. It was all lined up. It was all ready to go. And I was driving to school that morning. Heart blush, whatever that means. I was thinking about it. It was on my mind. Driving to school, and I used to let my car run to 0 miles left in the gas tank. I mean, just really filling it up the absolute minimum you could, because I was a 16-year-old child with no job. So why would you have money for gas? And so driving my car, and I'm pressing the gas on the way to school, and it's doing that thing of when you press it and the engine doesn't rev, it's just air. It's trying to pull gas out of a gas tank, but there isn't any. But it was still running. So it was kind of sloshing around. The remnants of gas were sloshing around in the gas tank. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just have to get gas with this girl in my car. I was late to school. I wasn't going to stop for gas. So I'm like, I'll just have to get gas on the way to Starbucks with this girl. Whatever, no problem. So school ends. We walk out to my car. We're in there together. It's nervous first date energy. And when you leave my school parking lot, you take a right and you go up the slightest little incline. And I remember I was driving, knew I was low on gas, and there was a light that it went to yellow, and there was a car in front of me, and then he stopped and it went to red. We could have made it, but the car in front of me stopped at the yellow, and then I stopped, and then my car turned off because there wasn't enough gas because of the hill. So I've got to fucking put it in reverse, use gravity to get back down the hill, and pull over to the side of the road. And now looking back, I realize this could have been a beautiful, romantic first encounter. I could have really turned it into a memory. There was a gas station, it was a mile away. It wasn't that crazy. So I could have taken this girl. I could have been like, well, I guess we got to walk to the gas station. It would have been a whole thing. We get the red GTA gas canister, bring it all the way back to my car, fill it up with gas. It would have been at least something. We could have talked. It would have been at least something. But what I did in that moment, panicking with a girl in my car, didn't have any gas, didn't know what to do, I thought the best course of action was to immediately call my dad for help. So I did that, called my dad. He came, met us, took us to the gas station. We got a gallon of gas. I filled it up. And then, now it's been an hour or whatever, like maybe even longer. And we get the gas, and I've got this girl in my car. And I was like, so, like, do you still have time to go to Starbucks? And she was like, I think I should probably just go home. And so that, and then that was like a Friday, and then Monday at school, her and her boyfriend got back together. So that was it. That was my chance. I ran out of gas and I blew it. Anyway, I hope that you and your husband are having a lovely life together. I don't still think about this all the time. Ooh, one for me? Thank you. Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, you hear that? It should be illegal to sell a crunchy pineapple. I guess somebody's got to eat it. You can get 3 of these boys for $14 at Safeway. Shout out, sponsor us. We're drinking your club soda. I'm eating your pineapple. We'll throw the logo in the corner for a nominal fee. Hey, Safeway the grocery store. Have you ever wondered what happened to all the special needs kids from your school after graduation? Come on down to Safeway. They all work here. Safeway. Why go to other grocery stores when you could go the Safeway? Why is it called Safeway? What's safe? Other grocery stores are not dangerous. Gas station, unsafe. Safeway. Join a new gym. They've got a sauna and a cold plunge. And as time goes by, I'm only getting further and further down the rabbit hole of woo-woo, holistic, hippie health, quote-unquote bullshit. I love it. I just think, people that know me in my life know that I've been trying to get healthier, and it seems like all that stuff is totally worth putting time into. So yeah, I've been ripping the sauna and the cold plunge. Met an older gentleman in the sauna yesterday. Non-romantic encounter. And we were just chatting it up. God, old people, they just will take any set of years that they can get their hands on. God, it's so boring. I wouldn't watch this. I lost my sunglasses a couple weeks ago. These sunglasses you see on my face are a new replacement pair that I purchased at the Sunglass Hut. And so I went to Sunglass Hut. They were doing buy one, get one, 40% off. But here's the thing. I'm only one man with only one set of eyes. I only have $4,000. So I wasn't going to get a second pair of sunglasses. Even the savings of the 40%. I just truly need the one set. So I went in there, knew what I wanted, got them in my hand, was ready to check out. The saleswoman, she's just asking me small talk questions. Oh, what are you doing after this? Oh, what restaurant do you work at? That's interesting, whatever. Just 2 people barely alive in a conversation. And then this dude, he had It's kind of suave energy, really, really good skin, hair pushed back in a way, tucked in polo shirt. And you know, this is the Sunglass Hut at the mall in Scottsdale. We're not talking about Potomac Mills, Maryland. This is a nice mall. But so this guy, you know, very rich guy energy. He sort of slinks over to me and he's like, hey man, you want to like go in on the deal? And you guys know me. I'm absolutely always looking for a discount. Come by it genetically. My proclivity for discounts. And so, you know, I'm in with this dude. I was like, if you pay, I'll Venmo you. That way, no risk for me. So, you know, now he's standing next to me and we have to get the saleswoman, you know, oh, hey, we're gonna do the buy one, get one thing together. And she's like, do you guys know each other? And this guy just right away, he goes, oh yeah, we know each other. And I'm just like, we probably didn't have to lie to get the sunglasses. I don't think this fucking lady cares. And she starts asking more questions. She's just like, oh, do you work at the restaurant too? Which was insane because this guy, you know, probably owns 2 houses and 3 boats. Like that was the energy. He does not work at a restaurant. But she goes, you work at a restaurant? He goes, oh yeah, part-time. I work there part-time. You know, just fully pathologically lying to this lady for no reason other than for his own entertainment. And I guess it may be potentially in his mind to get the sunglasses for a little bit cheaper. And so, you know, the whole thing took forever. We finally get outside. Not outside, just the main mall area of the mall where the kiosks are. Why is there no word for that? You know, you got the stores, but then you got the non-stores part of the mall, not the food court, just the main area. And we're standing out there, and you know, I got his name because I Venmo'd him, you know, and he didn't even really seem to care about the amount that I Venmo'd him. Like we got the discount, but then we were looking at the receipt and he kind of just like, whatever you think. And I was like, well, it's not whatever I think. We can just pull out the phone calculator. But anyway, so I Venmo'd him some indiscriminate amount of money. And I was like, this is an interesting guy. Oh, I forgot to mention this. When he pulled out his wallet to pay, it was not even a wallet. It was what I would describe as a carry-all. It was like a toiletry bag for traveling. It was like massive. And instead of having nothing on it, what it had was his 4 initials embossed. Not embroidered. You know what I mean? Like, you know when the letters are... That's what they were doing. And so 4 initials to me is a rich person thing. I knew a girl in my school whose parents were French. She had 4 names, rich and French. Anyway, I just think, you know, I don't know if maybe they charge extra for a second middle name. So it was just an interesting encounter. And I had the guy's name on Venmo, so I Googled him, did a little research, and it turns out he actually used to be the mayor of a small town here in Arizona called Nogales. He was once the mayor of said town, and he was removed from office and brought up on felony corruption charges and then served 2 years in prison. You know, he did his time, he got out, now he's not allowed to run for office anymore, but he still loves fraud. So he's got to get his kicks ringing out the Sunglass Hut for 40% at a time with little fuckers like me. So anyway, now I'm financially attached to a known criminal and convicted felon. That's interesting. This is the last good piece of pineapple. my gym, they've got a little room where they have a hot tub and then they have a cold tub. And on the wall in the room, there's no pool. There's no body of water in there bigger than, they're like twice the size of a bathtub. And they have on the wall a ring life preserver that you'd like throw off the side of a boat to save somebody who's drowning in the middle of the ocean. Like, it's so funny. First of all, there's no lifeguard in there. There's nobody to throw it to. You'd just be drowning, staring at the life preserver like, I wish I had that right now. But also, I know it can happen. And this is not, if this happened to you, skip this part of the podcast. Not if this happened to you. If this happened to someone you know. If you drowned, you'd be dead. If you drown in anything besides the ocean, that's your own fault. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not, and maybe I'm jinxing myself. Maybe I'll drown in a pool tomorrow. But I just don't see a way without being grotesquely negligent that you could drown in a hot tub, in a tiny little cold tub, or in a regular swimming pool. If you're not a baby, or an old man, or an old woman. God, I think I do need a sidekick for this podcast. Just someone. I just need an Andy Richter to my Conan O'Brien. Somebody I can bounce this shit off of. Because I'm having fun, but I'm just not. I'm not that interested in myself. I can't keep. Now I know what it's like to hang out with me. It is hotter than fuck. I wonder if my phone's even still recording. Let's take a look.